Saw the Mario movie recently, and it's about what I expected. It wasn't great. I only really liked the animation and the music, but I wanted to make this video because I'm kind of tired of the grift around it. It's not like a huge grift. It's not like everyone's saying it, but I just seen a few people say some things that they're like kind of pushing this idea that it's a great movie because it stars a white guy, and it's like, oh wow, a white man hero movie. The white guy's the hero, and there's nothing wrong with a white guy being a hero. I call myself a chud a lot for to filter out people who are non-chud friendly. You know what I mean? But my problem with the grifting is that it's just not true. And it's just not true. We didn't get a movie where the white guy was the hero and woke is dead or anything like that. And it's just not what happened at all. But I want to explain what happened because I did see the whole movie. Like I said, it was okay. It's a candy movie for kids, right? It's just a little popcorn movie or whatever. But the issue is that it's really the Peach movie. It's not the Mario movie. And Mario is there because he has to be because no one's less people are gonna buy a Peach movie. He's there, because he's obliged to be there because he's Mario, right? But let me explain what I mean by that. So the movie starts, the Mario Galaxy movie starts with Rosalina reading to the Lumas, right? And she's reading out the brave protector of the Mushroom Kingdom. The problem is that this brave protector is Princess Peach. Like, that's actually how it goes. She calls Princess Peach the brave protector, something to that effect, right? And it the next part, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it feels kind of insulting because the Lumas, they're like, no, we want the plumber story, we want Mario. And Rosalina's like, well, we read that one before, the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before that. And to me, that feels like kind of the directors talking to us. You know, it feels like they see fans like me. They're like, oh well, you've had so many Mario stories. It's time for Peach to shine. Sounds like that's what they're saying, but like I said, maybe I'm just reading too much into it. And I have other issues with the movie, but that's the main one. So basically, how the movie goes is Rosalina gets captured for her power, and Illuma looks for Peach because the Luma was told that Peach could help if anything happened. So Peach leaves the kingdom with Toad after talking to the Luma. She leaves the kingdom to find Rosalina, and Mario and Luigi are just backup kingdom protector guys. They're staying behind to protect the kingdom. That's what they're doing, along with Yoshi, who doesn't add much to the movie, but I'm not complaining. I like seeing him there. This is what I mean when I say Mario's just there out of obligation because it's when they're protecting the kingdom, they just do this montage of some action, which is good action, I like it, but it doesn't contribute to the story. It's meaningless. And, on top of that, they most of the stuff that's in the commercials was actually from that montage, that meaningless montage of action. But anyway, while Mario and Luigi are doing their action stuff and, protecting the kingdom, doing their chores basically, Peach is adventuring to find a way to Rosalina, and she fights a huge army from Wart, the big frog guy from Mario 2. And then she finds Fox, who agrees to take her where Rosalina is. A bunch of stuff not that important happens after that, regarding my critique. And then Mario and Luigi decide to catch up with Peach. And then they do, and Fox takes them to Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. joins up with Bowser again, by the way, during that. And then some filler happens, and then they get to the Bowser planet where Rosalina is. Now, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi all disembark, and, they go on the Bowser planet. Mario blocks off the gate eventually when he's running away from Bowser with Peach, and he blocks off the gate so Peach can go save Rosalina while he's stuck with Bowser. Then Yoshi and Luigi show up to help Mario with the fight, and it's a decent action scene, right? And then Peach uses her space powers. She has space powers, by the way. She has space powers because she's Rosalina's sister, and she doesn't find this out until she finds a book about Rosalina having a sister over at the Comet Observatory, that big space place they're at. So then Peach like activates her powers basically when she finds Rosalina to save her. And after she activates her powers, that's pretty much when they won because the whole planet transforms after Peach activates her space powers to to transform planets or something like that. They're not really specific about the powers. They just show like Peach and Rosalina on the moon as kids and they're like creating grass and life and stuff. So after Peach saves Rosalina and does that, they pretty much win because they transform the whole Bowser planet. And if it's not clear, that's kind of why I'm mad at the grifting because it's just not true. It is Peach's story. Mario's there to help Peach. Peach is the one who goes to adventure off to find Rosalina. Even the little Luma, he says, "Oh well, Peach is gonna help us, so I'm gonna go look for Peach. She's the hero." Mario's there for obligation, like I said before, and she goes off to adventure, and she, in the end, wins. In the end, she transforms the Bowser planet and saves Rosalina with her space powers. And I think it's kind of funny because people were saying, "Oh, wow, Brie Larson is like a super feminist, and she's happy to play Rosalina. Wow, she's actually likable now." And to me, I think that's funny because I think it's clear to me at least that Brie Larson only enjoyed her role as Rosalina and didn't complain about like misogyny or whatever because one, Rosalina is still like super mega powerful, right? She's 1v1ing Bowser Jr.'s giant robot at first. And two, it's because Peach saves her, She doesn't get saved by no man, she gets saved by a woman, right? So a woman's still the hero of the story. So that's why I think it's clear. That's why Brie Larson's fine with this role, and she's not complaining about like the typical Mario stuff, like "Oh, I don't want to be a damsel in distress." Like she doesn't care because it's a woman being the hero now, right? Like I said, it's Peach's story, and Mario's there to help. And I actually feel like kind of mad at the advertising because, like I said before, there was that big montage with Mario and Luigi protecting the kingdom, and they're like fighting enemies and stuff. It doesn't move the plot along. It's just there to be a montage, just to get the required Mario screen time in. I guess. I guess you'd say, right? But it's cool action at least. It's cool animation. But you got to see it for what it is. It's just there so Mario can be there. It's just there to fit in the required Mario time, right? And I'm kind of mad because that's most of what I saw from the advertisements. I saw the Peach action scene and I saw all the Mario and Luigi action from the montage. And that was most of what's in the advertisement. So I feel kind of lied to. I feel like it's kind of dishonest the way they advertised it with putting so much of the Mario and Luigi action in and the Yoshi. Because Yoshi was basically like a comedy character. The story didn't really have to do with him at all. He was very tacked on. Not. I'm glad to see Yoshi animated again because I do like art and animation, and I. But he really, the story could have been fine without Yoshi. He was just there to be a cute mascot or whatever. And yeah, and I know I haven't talked about the first movie on this channel, but I have pretty much the same problems with this one. Not that they can change it, right? I don't like that Peach is just plain more capable than Mario. Mario's just here because he's recognizable, pretty much. And Peach being here is just kind of makes Mario into a guy who helps. Like he's just an extra set of hands instead of the hero like he's in the game. And I don't like the obsession with movie stars. I don't like how all the voices had to be changed. I still would have rather had a movie with the original game voices and with new dialogue written for their game personalities. Because that's something else I've seen. I've seen people be like, "Oh well, here's a dub with the game voices. See how weird it is?" And it's like, well, yeah, because they're not the same characters, pretty much. If you wrote dialogue for the game characters, their voices would be just fine. And even then, other languages have made a closer Mario impression than Chris Pratt using his regular voice. Uh, I think Charlie Day is an okay take on Luigi, but I really don't really like any other characters, with their new voices. I don't get why they had to have like Donald. I'm not complaining that Donald Glover was Yoshi, but it's like, were you really so desperate to stick in as many movie stars as possible that you needed a new Yoshi voice? And all he does is say Yoshi. He just does the little squeaky voice, and that's it. But you just had to fit in another movie star. That's what I hate about the obsession with movie stars. But those are my problems with it. I didn't like Mario being less capable. I didn't like, the movie stars, but I did like some things, because I am a Mario fan, right? And I like seeing the Mario world animated. I like seeing the characters animated, even if I might have a few small problems with their designs, right? I like how the music from the games was remade for the movie. I always like hearing like new versions of the video game movies, and especially with this big budget, right? It's very pleasant to hear. They could have used more music from the Galaxy. They really use Gusty Garden too much, in my opinion. I, I like that song as much as the next guy, but I think there are plenty of other songs from Galaxy that need some time to shine, right? But yeah, I mostly did this video because I didn't like the grifting that's acting like this movie is some triumph against wokeness when if you ask me, it's kind of more girl boss stuff, really. And Mario's just there for his clout, basically. They're there to leech off of Mario's clout, but it is the Peach story. Like I said before, Peach is the protector of the Mushroom Kingdom. Peach's sister is lost, and Peach goes on the adventure. Peach is the one that moves the plot along. Everyone else is just there to help. And actually, I have a lot more to say about the movies, but with things I liked and disliked, weird choices and things like that, even aside from the grifting. But this video is specifically about the grifting, so I'm not going to get too much into it. Like I said before, I mainly like the art and music. Nothing about the writing. I really didn't like the writing at all. But it's a colorful movie. It's a well animated movie. So, if you're going to go, don't go expecting a masterpiece. If you have kids, they're probably going to like it. But yeah, you're probably not going to be too thrilled about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I feel like I'm the only like Chud who actually disagrees with the pro Chud grifting around the movie. And that's about it. Bye.